With planting season just around the corner, we stopped by Pat Feldpausch Farms near Fowler, Michigan, to have Joe Aungst show us how they make sure that their planters are ready to hit the field.
A great place to start when you're preparing for your planting in the spring is to start with your meters. You want to make sure that you have those ran every year, depending on the amount of acres that you run and the amount of rows that you have, to have them calibrated. And they can also check when you have different seed sizes, so you're going to want to check with your seed company to see what size, if they have flats or rounds or smalls or larges. That way you know that your meter can handle the corn that you're going to receive in the spring. So when you bring in your meters for us to calibrate them, we're going to put in several things. We want to know what your population, what your target is. Is it 30,000, 36,000? What's your population? And then when we run it, we want to see what the singulation is. We want to know if there's skips, multiples. You can see that we can run different varieties of corn. And different meters are capable of doing different things. As you work up, you can see that there's meters that will run all the way up to 99.5% in singulation. So a few things that we're going to go over. It's okay to have a checklist. It's easy when you start looking over a plan and there's so many things to look at and then see, oh, here's another problem. So print yourself off a checklist. They're online. Precision Planning has them. So we're going to start right here with the parallel arms. You just want to make sure that they're not bent, and we want to make sure that there's nuts. Usually the nuts inside of there, because this is a pivot point, is a lock nut, so you want to make sure that they're in place. The other thing that you want to check is a seed tube. If you take here and we'll look down inside, we have a little bit different seed tube. It's hard to see, but you know where it's going to be right here underneath your meter. You want to make sure that that seed tube is clean. On this one here we have speed tube, so it actually has a belt that carries it down to the ground. But if you have the older style where the seed is just going to be released from the meter and is going to drop down the seed tube, there's an eye on that seed tube on most planters. So you want to take a brush and clean, go up from the bottom or from the top and make sure that there's no debris in there, that seed's going to go down, but also that eye is going to be cleaned off so that it can make sure and read the seed that's going down through that seed tube. We're going to go up here to the Keatons right here. We wanted to make sure that we had 20 ounces of down pressure right here. The other thing is you want to make sure that the hose isn't kinked. Again, we run the little tips that's going to shoot the fertilizer a little bit to the side of the trench, so we can see that we have these here installed. The other thing is with your openers. You can tell that we have new disc on here and you can actually see the bevel. You want to make sure that you're running the right size of openers, that they're not wore down past your bevel, because everything's going to go off the depth, and that depth that you want to have, you want to get that seed 1 3/4 at least 2. It's better to go just a little bit deeper than shallow. And so it's gonna have a big impact on your other adjustments if you're running all these at the exact same size and that they're wore out. So you're trying to set your depth with your gauge wheel. So you want to make sure that when you lift your gauge wheel up, that it is tight against this disc. You do want to make sure that you're not getting dirt in there that's going to change where that's going to ride. And so when that disc, when you take up your gauge wheel, you want to make sure that it's still tight against the disc. You don't want it to wear real heavy. You want to make sure it can still turn, but make sure that you check it in both. Then also you want to check your bearings back here, make sure they're tight, and make sure that they're greased, make sure that the bearings inside your gauge wheels are good. Then it rides up, and a lot of people call it a mustache right here, but it's going to ride up to make sure that both of those gauge wheels are helping with the depth. The other thing is make sure that your depth on each row unit is set in the same spot. Sometimes it's easy to have other people and somebody will start at one side and one on the other. We always like to, when we go across, we'll swap in the middle and check each other's work just to make sure that those are all set at the same height. You want to make sure that before you go to the field, even when you're checking things out, make sure that your equipment's updated. If you've got Green Star or whatever Precision 2020, make sure that your equipment is updated. They usually put out new updates every year, so before you get out there, a lot of times when it's at the farm, you have better internet service. It can hook up to what you have there at the farm. And so make sure that before you head to the field that things are updated already. It's going to save you time when you go out there.